After Hua Ting left, Dong Dong asked Su Mianmian. Mimi, why did you sleep for so long? I've been waiting for you to get up for so long today. Why isn't it because I barely slept last night? Su Mianmian blushed, not wanting to dwell on the matter any longer, and said. I didn't sleep well last night. Dong Dong nodded and said. Sigh, you adults just don't know how to control yourselves, that's not good, some things need to be done slowly, otherwise it can get very serious. Dong Dong is so young, yet he knows so much. Hearing him say that, Su Mianmian was completely taken aback. She pursed her lips and said. Dong Dong, I think the more serious issue is about your education, such as the amount of time you can use the internet each day. Dong Dong originally wanted to say more, but after hearing what Su Mianmian said, he thought about it and decided to change the subject in order to keep the online questions going. Actually, I'm not that interested in your nightlife. Hua Ting quickly brought out the porridge, which was probably cooked and put in the pot beforehand. What are you talking about? He asked. Su Mianmian and Dong Dong exchanged a glance and said in unison. It's nothing. Dong Dong peeked behind Hua Ting and asked. Daddy, where are my milk and want little buns? Go get it yourself. He glanced indifferently at Hua Chendong's slightly chubby face and said. But Hua Chendong, look at your face, you should lose weight. Dong Dong puffed out his cheeks angrily, making his face look even rounder. He said unhappily. Are all adults like this? If you don't want it, just say so. Don't make excuses for your behavior. As a man, I will forgive you. Men? Are there any men who drink want milk every day? Hua Ting mocked him. Dong Dong raised his head and said proudly. What's wrong with men? Who says men can't drink want milk? I was voted the most popular male god by 500 women in our kindergarten. The whole process was fair, just and transparent. He said smugly. So, Dad, you're getting old. Men of the new era should drink milk. Ignoring Dong Dong's words, Hua Ting saw that Su Mianmian had finished her porridge and asked. Want some more? Su Mianmian shook her head. No. Hua Ting stared at her. Su Mianmian looked completely bewildered. Uncle, what are you trying to say by staring at me like that? Dong Dong looked at Hua Ting, then at Su Mianmian, reached out and tugged at Su Mianmian's hand, and whispered. Mimi, my dad wants to ask you what you think of the taste. What does it taste like? It's a bit strange. Not too strange, it's just that the meaty smell wasn't removed, and a little too much salt was added. She said honestly. Whether it was her imagination or not, Hua Ting seemed to wilted after she said those words. Hua Ting gave her a somewhat resentful look, then turned and left with his bowl and chopsticks. Gone. Su Mianmian was completely confused. She asked Dong Dong. What's wrong with your dad? Dong Dong grinned mischievously and said. He cooked this porridge. He even deliberately didn't let anyone help him. But how could he possibly cook it all by himself? So, when he wasn't looking, I secretly helped him out. Dong Dong, are you sure this bowl of porridge is strange not because of you? Su Mianmian felt a warmth in her heart, no one had ever done these things for her before. The uncle personally made porridge for me. No one but my mother has ever made these things for me. She touched her stomach and suddenly felt a little hungry. Dong Dong, go tell your dad that I think the porridge tastes good and I'd like another bowl. Dong Dong gave her a strange look, then he said. Okay, I'll go get my milk while I'm at it. After a while, Hua Ting brought the porridge over and said coldly. I just criticized the chef and told him to pay attention next time he cooks porridge. If you're not too hungry, you can wait a bit. They've cooked it again now. No need, I think this is delicious. To show that she liked it, as if afraid he would take it away immediately, Su Mianmian quickly took the porridge. Although Hua Ting's face remained expressionless, a closer look revealed that one of his ears was red. While eating her porridge, Su Mianmian wondered. Is he shy? After finishing the porridge, Su Mianmian felt a surge of energy. Hua Ting glanced at her without changing his expression. Dong Dong felt that if he continued to watch, he would feel terrible, so he turned around and left, deciding to avoid seeing it altogether. That evening, when Hua Ting came in to urge Dong Dong to wash up and go to bed, a tail followed Dong Dong. Hua Ting looked at Su Mianmian following behind Dong Dong and said. What are you doing? Dong Dong looked at Su Mianmian, who took a deep breath and said. I'll sleep in Dong Dong's room tonight. Unfortunately, Hua Ting didn't give them a chance. No! Su Mianmian glanced up furtively and noticed that Hua Ting's face was growing increasingly dark. A little frightened, she said. I think it would be better if we slept separately, I'm still injured. Hua Ting said coldly. I won't do anything today. Would he really be that beastly? This is outrageous. It's only the first day of our marriage, and my little wife is already defying me. He felt it was his duty to let her know who was in charge of the household. However, even so, I still think it would be better if we had separate rooms. Hua Ting said coldly. Don't even think about it, sleeping in separate rooms is absolutely out of the question. He emphasized. How about we all sleep together? Dong Dong suggested, raising her hand. She nodded, agreeing with Dong Dong's suggestion. Hua Ting looked at the oversized light bulb Dong Dong and reluctantly agreed. However, Hua Ting discovered it when everyone was lying in bed that night. Dong Dong lay in the middle of the bed, with a long river separating him from Su Mianmian. He wanted to reach out and hug his little wife, but instead he heard Dong Dong's childish voice. This kid is such a nuisance, he's preventing me from cuddling Mianmian to sleep, I should just throw him out. He's made up his mind, he'll throw Dong Dong out tomorrow. When Su Mianmian woke up the next day, she did not see Hua Ting. This inadvertently relieved her. To be honest, even though they had done everything, she still didn't know how to face him. Even though we're married, I still feel a lot of pressure around older men. His cold demeanor, in particular, put her under a lot of pressure. The maid brought the phone over to Su Mianmian and said, Madam, there's a phone call for you, it's from the hospital. Hospital? Su Mianmian was stunned for a moment before taking the phone. Hello, are you Su Zhuxi's sister? Who are you? Su Mianmian was a little confused. Given their relationship, why would he call her? He was hit by a car and is in the hospital now. I'm Su Zhuxi's classmate. We contacted his parents, but they are not in the country right now, so we can only contact you. I wonder if it would be convenient for you to come to the hospital now? After hanging up the phone, Su Mianmian thought about it and decided to go see him. Su Zhuxi, her academically gifted younger brother, is half her blood relative. The two of them rarely spoke to each other. But since it was a car accident, I should still go and check on it. Hello, I am a family member of Su Zhuxi. Which room is he being treated in? 302. Su Mianmian had just stepped halfway in when she heard Su Zhuxi shout loudly. Let me go! You lowly commoners, how dare you tie me up? I'll have my father, the emperor, chop you all up. Two nurses were seen holding Su Zhuxi's arms tightly. One of them seemed to be trying to give him an injection but couldn't manage it. Meanwhile, his two classmates stood at the foot of the bed, constantly trying to persuade him. Zhuxi, calm down. Yes, Zhuxi, we've already called your sister, and she'll be here soon. Sister? My sister went out to marry a foreigner, how could she possibly come? What did you do to me? Su Zhuxi fell backward with a thud. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Hello, I'm his sister, what's going on? What did you call him just now? Su Mianmian asked. The nurse put away the tools used in the crime and said. He was hit in the head by a car. His body was fine, but it seemed like he had some brain problems. We had no other choice but to give him a sedative. Sister, it's good that you're here. It's also Su Zhuxi's bad luck that the whole Su family went abroad for vacation. Su Zhuxi didn't go with them because he was attending a tutoring class. But when they came out of the tutoring class, he was hit by a children's BMW while trying to avoid another car. His classmates took Su Zhuxi to the hospital, initially thinking that nothing serious had happened since he didn't have any external injuries. After Su Zhuxi woke up, he was a completely different person. They had no other choice but to contact Su Mianmian. After learning what had happened, Su Mianmian really didn't know how to describe the complex feelings she had. This is truly tragic. Su Mianmian then went to the doctor privately to find out more about the situation. You didn't see it, but when we first started treating him, several medical staff were bitten by him. So, I'm sorry, we suggest you transfer him to a specialized psychiatric hospital. Su Mianmian sighed. I'm sorry. My family isn't home, and I don't know what to do. Just as Su Mianmian was wondering what to do, her phone rang. She looked down and saw that the caller ID showed it was her child's father. How do I deal with this nickname that makes me really reluctant to respond? Hello? Where are you? Hua Ting's icy voice came through the phone. Su Mianmian straightened her clothes and honestly replied. I'm in the hospital. Hua Ting immediately replied. Wait for me, don't leave, I'll be right there. After hanging up the phone, for some reason, Su Mianmian suddenly felt that perhaps this unexpected marriage wasn't so bad after all. Hua Ting didn't keep her waiting for long, he arrived about 20 minutes later. Su Mianmian stared wide-eyed at the dozen or so men in black suits following behind him. Were they here to cause trouble? The doctor who had been urging Su Mianmian to transfer to another hospital since the beginning broke out in a cold sweat after seeing the people Huating brought. He coughed and said, "Let's talk things over, we can discuss any problems slowly, our goal is to help patients solve their problems." "Where is he?" Huating asked. Su Mianmian was stunned for a moment before realizing that he was asking about Su Xiu. She pointed to Su Xiu, who was still sleeping. "Carry it away." Huating gave a signal, and several bodyguards in black moved the bed and the person up together. Wait a minute, the bed belongs to the hospital." The doctor cried out in a panic. "The discharge procedures haven't been completed yet." "Hello, I am Mr. Hua's assistant, you can discuss the bed and treatment costs with me." The doctor couldn't help but feel a little happy at the thought of them leaving soon. He excitedly said, "That's great. I'll give you a 20% discount on that bed. We've been wanting to get some new beds for ages." After getting into the car, Su Mianmian couldn't help but look back. "Where are we going now?" "My brother." Su Mianmian asked worriedly. "I have a friend whose wife owns a hospital. Don't worry, no matter how serious your brother's problem is, she won't refuse to take him in." "Uncle, is this meant to comfort me?" "It is, isn't it?" "Thank you. Thank you for coming to help me right away without saying a word." "You are my wife, you never need to thank me." Huating's tone remained cold, but Su Mianmian seemed to be able to sense the warmth within his icy words. Su Mianmian felt a warmth in her chest and couldn't help but look up at him. Huating said coldly, "Taking care of one's wife is a husband's responsibility, you just need to listen to me. For example, your decision to sleep with Dong Dong last night was absolutely inappropriate. Dong Dong kicked my face twice in his sleep last night, that kid definitely did it on purpose." Huating said with dissatisfaction. Su Mianmian was stunned, somewhat unable to understand why the topic had veered off course so drastically. After hearing the driver say that they had arrived, Su Mianmian decisively opened the car door and got out. Huating followed him down with a dark expression. Xia Yi stood at the hospital entrance, watching them with a half-smile. She wasn't in a hurry to look at Su Xiu. She smiled faintly and said, "Hey, cutie, are you feeling better?" When Su Mianmian heard her speak, she looked up and saw that she was dressed in white and looked particularly handsome. She had never seen anyone look so dashing in a white coat, and she was completely mesmerized. "Huh? Do you know me?" "I'm in very good health," Su Mianmian replied. Xia Yi smiled mischievously and said, "That's good, if you're healthy, I have some more if you need them." "Xia Yi, that's enough. She's my wife," Huating said, dissatisfied. Xia Yi glanced at Huating, who was practically spitting fire, and smiled. Huating turned around, his face dark, and began to lecture his wife, coldly saying, "Every month, girls at the first municipal hospital get into fights over her. If she didn't seduce them, how could so many naive girls fall in love with her? Humph. Anyway, stay away from this crazy woman. Do you hear me? Dr. Xia is a woman?" Su Mianmian opened her mouth in shock. Xia Yi looked at her and said gently, "Little cutie, forget about him, come see your little brother." "Aww. Dr. Xia is handsome whether he's male or female." Over here, the sleeping beauty Su Xiu woke up amidst a cacophony of noise. He looked around, rubbed his eyes, and muttered, "What the hell is this place? You're awake? How are you feeling?" Su Xiu spotted Huating among a group of men who resembled assassins. He froze the moment he saw Huating. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief, and after confirming that he wasn't seeing things, he shouted loudly, tightly hugging Huating's leg and crying, "Father, didn't you pass away? Why are you appearing in my dream? Is it because I miss you so much that you appeared in my dream?" Huating took a deep breath to calm himself down, making sure he didn't accidentally kick out his brother-in-law who was clinging to him. Everyone was stunned by the scene and stood there watching without moving. "Oh my God. I never thought I'd see my father again. I was only 3 years old when you passed away, I can't believe I'll get to see you again. Someone punch me. Am I really not dreaming?" Su Xiu continued his reckless shouting. "Uncle, calm down." Su Mianmian reached out and tugged at Huating's hand. However, it was too late. Xia Yi had already rendered Su Xiu unconscious with a tranquilizer injection. "Su Xiu already had mental issues, so I just hope this knock won't make things worse. You all take a rest, I'll give him a full body checkup." 2 hours later, Xia Yi returned to her office and saw Hua Ting and Su Mianmian in her office. The report is out. Your brother is fine. So what is he now? Just as Su Mianmian was about to breathe a sigh of relief, she heard her say something else. It's just delusional personality disorder. This sounds pretty serious, Su Mianmian said, expressing her thoughts. It's just a split personality, but this illness won't kill you anyway. However, this wasn't caused by the accident, it's been building up over a long period, and this child has a relatively weak mental resilience. Xia Yi said. Will things get better? You can understand it this way, your brother's first personality has always been there, it's just temporarily dormant, and now this second personality has emerged. Xia Yi said patiently. After she finished speaking, seeing that Su Mianmian still looked thoughtful, she continued. But there's no need to worry, it won't affect his normal life. What if he shows violent tendencies again? At the previous hospital, the doctor said that Su Zhiyu's violent tendencies were very serious. Xia Yi gestured with her hand and smiled. Didn't Hua Ting solve this problem very well? Call him Father Emperor and beat him up. Su Mianmian remembered Hua Ting's violent slap just now and fell silent. After further discussion, the three decided that Su Zhiyu would stay at the hospital here until Su Wei's and the others returned from their trip abroad. After making her decision, Su Mianmian wanted to see Su Zhiyu one last time before going back. However, when she arrived at the ward, she found Su Zhiyu stood in front of the window, motionless, with his eyes closed. What's going on? Su Mianmian asked the bodyguard in black inside the room. The bodyguards in black shook their heads in unison, looking completely bewildered. Su Mianmian walked over and said in a low voice. Su Zhiyu, I know you can hear me. I am not Su Zhiyu. Su Zhiyu said. Su Mianmian was stunned for a moment, thinking. Could it be that my second personality is going to come out and talk to me? So who are you? Su Zhiyu looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle and said in a particularly melancholy tone. I am a flower. Don't ask me where I come from. My hometown is far away, I wander far away, wander. Oh no. His illness has gotten even worse. When I got back from the hospital, I found Dong Dong fast asleep in the big room. He occupied the middle of the big bed all by himself, while the other side was filled with snacks, including many potato chip crumbs. Su Mianmian secretly looked up and found that Hua Ting's face had turned completely black. He whispered reassuringly. Dong Dong is asleep, let's not disturb him. After saying that, Hua Ting reached out and pulled up Su Mianmian, who was still in a daze. Hua Ting walked towards the door and said. So let's change rooms. Is that even possible? Dong Dong. Get up right now. Su Mianmian looked at Dong Dong with tears streaming down her face.